Trustee Bloom
Here.
and myself present. Quorum is present. We will now move on to the first item, which is the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes? Hear none. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
A second.
Roll call, please.
President Latu,
Aye.
Vice President Shabomahin,
Aye.
Trustee Alexander,
Aye.
Trustee Polito,
Aye.
Trustee Bloom.
Aye. Sorry.
Motion carries 5-0. Now we will move down to 3, which is closed session. Before we go into closed session, just want to let everyone know that when we come back, we will be hearing from the floor. So if anyone wishes to address the board on closed sessions matter, may do so at that time. So I will wrap it up at 6:33 to go into closed session.
Sorry, y'all.
Alrighty, it looks like everyone is back. Welcome back, everyone. And we will resume open session. So going down to 3A, there was this, just reporting back on closed session. There was discussion and direction was given. Sorry, just to highlight the time, we're resuming at 7:16. But yes, for closed session, there was discussion and direction was given. So now we will move on to comment from the floor. So if there is anyone who wishes to speak on anything that isn't on the agenda, now is the time. So you can use the raise hand function.
I do not see any raised hands.
Nobody.
Alrighty, so we'll just keep moving forward to 6, which is the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Through the chair, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, item 6.
I will second that motion.
Roll call, please.
President Latu,
Aye.
Vice President Shebomahin,
Aye.
Trustee Alexander,
Aye.
Trustee Polito,
Aye.
Trustee Bloom.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0. So now we will move on to item 7, which is from the superintendent's office.
Great. And President Latu, can you give me a thumbs up if you see the slide that says back to campus update?
Yes.
Fabulous. Great. All right, so I'm actually quite excited to share and give update to the board about how our TKs are doing that are now on campus for in-person instruction, along with our urgent learners or our unique learners. We will give you an update as well on COVID updates, the current conditions, the vaccines, the antigen testing. And then we would also like to share with the trustees a few proposals so that we can continue to incrementally bring students on campus for in-person instruction. So we'll first start with COVID updates. So you see this chart, I'm sure well, I hope you're familiar with this chart. It shows where the San Mateo County and East Palo Alto are still in the purple tier. And if you notice in the purple tier, that means that we...
Sorry. I don't think your slides are moving for us.
Oh. Now are they? Do you see the...
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. So in the purple tier, you notice that there has to be, well, that means we have more than 7 cases per 100,000. It also shows that we're in the purple tier because there's a higher positivity rate that's more than 8%. All right, and we are continually in this tier because specifically the cases are still greater than 7 per 100,000. The next slide I will show you shows a comparison between East Palo Alto and San Mateo County. As you know, the new state guidelines There is a difference between, in the purple tier, having 25 cases per 100,000. And if you have more than 25 cases per 100,000, you're in the deep purple. If you have less than 25 cases per 100,000, you're in purple. You can see the difference between EPA and the county. And in regards to the positivity rate, you see that actually there's been a decrease. And where East Palo Alto is showing about 6.5% positivity rate, along with the San Mateo County having more of a decrease at 3.8%. This next chart will actually show a line graph showing that there's been a decline, which is fantastic for both East Palo Alto and San Mateo. East Palo Alto on the left-hand side is the green line, and San Mateo County is the blue line. San Mateo County, you can see there based on the previous chart, is below that purple dotted line, which means that it's below the 25 cases per 100,000. East Palo Alto, remember, is above that and is at 71 cases per 100,000. And you see the red tier, the red dotted line, that indicates 7 or below being able to go into the red tier. So both the county and East Palo Alto are still above that. And then you can see the positivity rate on the right-hand side, still on the decline, which is great. East Palo Alto has a higher positivity rate. We wanted to give you an update as well on the school vaccines, or the vaccine update in general, and as it relates to the education workers. So school staff, education workers are part of group 1B, along with what you've learned to be the 65+-year-olds. I'm proud to be part of this county, San Mateo County. Our county superintendent, Nancy McGee, along with the other 22 superintendents, developed an equity-based plan to get vaccines to all education workers. Ravenswood is going to be at the top of the list because it's based, the equity distribution plan is based on the percentage of unduplicated students. So those who are qualified under low income, English learners, or foster youth. And staff will be prioritized by the frequency that they have contact with students. And the first priority is staff who work with students with moderate to severe special needs. And we are putting everything in place to make sure that once the vaccines become accessible in the county, we have our priority list already clearly defined. We sent out the notice already to our staff. Some of our staff are 65+ and older. So we are asking staff to please let us know first if you're going to want to take the vaccine, and if you already took the vaccine, to please indicate that you would be willing to opt out so that we could have the right people on the priority list and not miss out on the opportunity as soon as we have the vaccines available. We are also very excited to be able to have the opportunity, along with the 2 other school districts I mentioned, Redwood City and La Honda Pescadero, to initiate the antigen testing. And under the support of Ann Waterman Roy, and obviously the directors who are providing information, and the principals who are also providing the support, is that we have training that's almost nearly complete for staff, along with staff who are in the learning hubs. Boys and Girls Club has already started the testing for their staff, and the 49ers Academy, East Palo Alto Tennis and Tutoring are on the way. I can show you very quickly here, if possible, the video of how the antigen test is administered. Well, it could be self-administered by a student, so hopefully it will process.
You're going to be 6 feet apart from everybody, and the teacher is going to help you wash your hands. You're going to wash your hands before you do the test. So there we go. Washing our hands with some hand sanitizer. And then the teacher is going to give you the swab, and you're going to hold it by the wooden stick, and you're not going to touch the top part, the soft part. You're going to pull down your mask once the adult gets far enough away from you, and they'll tell you when. And you're going to put it in your nose like you're picking your nose. And you're going to do it for a count of 15. You're going to spin it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's right. And you're going to spin that cotton swab around.
7,
8,
You want to spin it around your nose at least 5 times for 15 seconds.
13,
14,
15. And you're gonna do on the other side, just like that. 1, 2,
I was not
3.
ready. I only did one.
Okay. You don't have to spin it around 15 times. It's just for spin it slowly around on the sides, just like that. We're gonna do it for about 15 seconds. That's why we're counting. So we're at 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Go ahead and take it out and put your mask back on over your nose. And then wait for the adults to come by and collect your swab.
So the test can be self-administered by the youngest of our kids, typically 5 years and older, right? And although we can't mandate students to take the antigen test, we are very much encouraging families to have students or have them complete a waiver, giving us permission, and then also be able to share information so that we can upload the data into the database that's provided, and we can associate the results and document quickly the outcomes of the testing results. So there is a data sharing agreement for approval, up for approval, and there's also an MOU with the primary to be able to partner, very similar with the MOU that was approved with the curative. And both the MOU and the data sharing agreement were reviewed by our deputy county counsel for all 3 of our school districts, and we got the thumbs up to proceed. We hope for students that we could start the testing by February 17th. Again, it's just getting all of the other logistics, signing of the waiver and the training of all of our staff to be able to do so, and we're on pace. So I'm happy to share a little bit about students currently on campus for in-person instruction. So yes, we started, I believe it was January 27th. It was a Wednesday. And Mr. Germano welcomed 10 of his students back on campus. This is a parent of one of the students. This is Mr. Germano. Here's a student, loving this picture, by the way, pun intended, reading a book. And there's 10 students in the class. They each have their own desks. They are socially distanced, 6 feet or more. We have support in the class to be able to release Mr. Germano, principal, paraeducator, all on deck to make this as successful as possible. And more importantly, we have happy children and happy parents. I think the only piece here that was of concern was a parent who was, kind of concerned to leave their child there, not because of COVID or the pandemic. It wasn't pandemic related. It was the fact that it was really the first day of school. And considering this was January 27th, and these are TK students, most of them completed their 5th birthday, so they're still very young. So it was a little more difficult for some of our parents to let go than the kids wanting to be there. I'll have our Director of Special Ed, Jennifer Graham, speak a little bit about the unique learners. She's able to
We have been incredibly excited to have our preschool students already start on campus. And in a moment, I'm going to show you a video from this morning of one of our kiddos. But our preschools have been bringing in kids 1 and 2 at a time, and we're slowly increasing that time, which has been wonderful for the preschool teachers and staff to just see the kids so happy and in person. Because with our youngest learners, it is not ideal to be learning through an iPad, especially when there are learning differences involved. Our K2 students, there were 6 students in the class. 4 families, when it came down to it, felt nervous, and so they didn't want to come back. So then we had 2 students who were going to come in person, and unfortunately one of them had a medical issue. And so the 2 students are going to start in a group starting on Wednesday, which we're really excited to see begin on Wednesday, so we can provide a lot of opportunity for those 2 students who do want to come in. And then the 3-5 class is going to start on Wednesday as well. They felt more comfortable starting after antigen test was fully up and running. And now that training Gina had just mentioned has been completed and everybody's ready to come in, we're excited to welcome the kiddos starting on Wednesday. If you could go forward one One slide. This is a very quick video. Before you play it, it is only 9 seconds, but I just wanted to share it with everybody. Our program specialist was supporting at the site and was able to bring our whole special education team into the preschool via Zoom. And so this is a video from our Zoom that I clipped down to be the one student. This is this kiddo's first day of school ever. He is 4. And he was not finding success with the iPad. And so I just wanted to share this like burst of happiness. You'll see the teacher's double masked with her face shield on briefly, but if you could just hit play on this video of Happy.
Very cool.
Looking out the window. It just felt like just a burst of fun. And so this is his first time he's ever been in school, and everything is going absolutely perfectly. And the staff is so happy to be in person with the kiddos. So we're really excited about that. So thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Very cool.
Okay, so now I'd like to move forward and present to the trustees additional proposals to bring on more students for in-person instruction. So we wanted to make sure, yes, can we bring back more urgent learners back on campus? And what we presented to the School Improvement Working Group very recently, this week, for them to consider several proposals. And we wanted them to consider each proposal compared to the following criteria: safety, quality, and equity. So first, does the proposal follow cohort guidance? Second, does it enhance the learning, and is the program at least as good as the current distance learning? And in regards to equity, will kids at home still get at least as good an experience as they do today? Because we'll learn during the presentation that not all of the students in the class have families that want to bring their children on campus. So they are still going to receive virtual instruction. And we won't want to have the children coming onto campus be affected. We don't want the students coming onto campus impacting the learning of those who are receiving virtual instruction. So there are 3 proposals. We are looking at wanting to bring kinder class at Castaño, and this is Ms. Decker's class, additional kindergartners at the Los Robles Ronald McNair site. And we're looking at all of the kindergartners. And then in terms of newcomers, being able to bring some 6th graders who are newcomers onto campus at the middle school. So looking at Ms. Decker's class, one of the kindergarten classes at Castaño, there are 23 students total. And out of the 23, 9 are willing to come on campus. 7, there is no response, and no is the response, or no responses. And 7 are not ready yet. And this was as of December. We would have some students in person and some would be virtual. And Ms. Decker is prepared to do both synchronous and asynchronous to create a good experience for the virtual learners. So she is prepared to hold a synchronous session with her virtual learners while in-person instruction is also going on. She has the technology and the skills to use the technology to lead this model and is eager to pilot it. And I think you might have learned that other districts also have teachers that are experimenting with both using an owl, which is a camera that's able to follow the speaker and is able to do a panoramic view of the classroom. That's how Mr. Germano is able to pull in the one virtual learner during synchronous time with the rest of the class during key activities. Ms. Decker is willing to use her Zoom on her computer and place it in such a way that it could be able to view the entire classroom. her schedule would be from 8:45 to 1 p.m. And they will try this through the spring break and then consider extending the day a bit longer. And if approved by the trustees this evening, then they will hold a parent meeting next week and then be able to get as many numbers as possible to encourage more families to participate, and then be able to start the program February 24th, which is a Wednesday. And then for Los Robles, Waldo McNair, we are kind of calling this model, not kind of, it is kind of like Learning Hubs Plus. So the goal here is to improve the learning experience for all the kindergarten students at Los Robles, Ronald McNair by adding in-person instruction to the existing learning hubs. And then, obviously try to serve as many students as possible and as safe as possible. There are currently 2 hubs on campus that serve 20 of the 32 kindergarten students. And we are working closely with the Boys and Girls Club to open up a 3rd hub so that we potentially will have 30 of the 32 students, 29 of the 32 students be split up across the 3 learning hubs. I want to first start by saying that the 2 kindergarten teachers who have the 2 kindergarten classrooms have become accustomed to teaching both classes. That was because at the start of the year, we started with Ms. Cuellar and a long-term substitute. We now have our teacher who has returned in that 2nd classroom, and they've continued with that model of both teachers teaching all kindergarten students. So Ms. Cuellar will do the push-in into all the learning hubs for 2 hours out of the day for in-person instruction. And then she will rotate to a different pod each week. And each student sees her in person every 3 weeks. So of the 3 pods, pod A, we'll see her on 1 week, and she will go to pod B the 2nd week, and then pod 3 the 3rd week, and then the cycle will start over. Ms. Cermele will be continuing providing virtual instruction, and they're already, like I said, doing the team teaching. We also imagine that Ms. Cuellar will provide synchronous instruction as well, as she will be doing this push-in for 2 hours out of the day, and there'll be a time to also provide synchronous instruction. All right, and we already checked in. Ann Waterman, our consultant, has already checked in with the county to get reassurance that we're following the guidelines and that we can do the 1-week rotations. And actually, we got commended by the county for being as creative as possible to bring our students onto campus, and they definitely thought this was very creative. This is just a schedule to show that, and it might be a little confusing, but I'll try to explain here. And we also have Principal Alex as well in attendance to address any specific questions. But if we look at Learning Pod 1 here, for the first week, the in-person instruction Learning Pod will receive is by Ms. Cuellar. And then we would also have synchronous instruction potentially provided by Ms. Cermele. All the rest of the learning pods during week 1 will have virtual instruction as well as asynchronous learning. And then the pattern will be the same for Learning Pod 2 the 2nd week, where they would get in-person instruction, synchronous instruction, while the other pods will be synchronous and asynchronous virtually. And again with Pod 3. And then our C&I director, Lara Brennan, will share a bit about the newcomers, specifically the 6th graders.
Sure. So we have a proposal for our 6th graders in our newcomer class to come on campus. So you can see in the blue box, there are 14 students total. And when we asked them in December, 9 of the families were interested in in-person learning. 4 were interested, but potentially in waiting a little bit longer, maybe until March. And then we had 1 no response. So if we are able to offer this class in person, you can see the newcomer teachers schedule below. And
I'll go back.
And you can see on her schedule where it says 6th grade newcomer. So the students would be in the classroom the whole day, 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And the teacher would also be in the classroom. At times when the students would be in the 6th grade newcomer class, she would get to do that instruction in person. At other times in the day, it would function almost like a learning hub in a sense of the students are logging on to their other classes in their schedule and doing their regular distance learning. And then the teacher would also be teaching her other classes at those other periods. And then there's a few pockets in the day where the teacher would actually be able to provide some extra support to the students when she's not teaching those other classes. So that's the general gist of the schedule.
Thank you, Lada. We are also very excited to be able to expand potentially our learning hubs that we already are offering, or I should say our partners are offering. San Mateo County offered a grant to expand learning hubs, and all of our learning hubs on campus, Boys and Girls Club, East Palo Alto Tennessee Tutoring, and the 49ers Academy have all applied. It was actually due yesterday. And so our learning hubs are, yes, they already submitted them. And we currently do have students on the wait list. And we also have staff who definitely have identified students who would benefit from being in hubs based on the attendance data that we've been looking at, and obviously anecdotal information, and obviously what teachers observe in their own classrooms in regards to engagement. So if we can have more pods, we could bring more students on campus to receive the support and also the supervision to get them logging in. And we definitely want to focus in on our middle school to try to bring more students onto campus. So if you have any questions, we are happy to respond. And there are 3 items under this agenda where we would like the board to consider approving. But happy to respond to any questions.
So I will open the floor for discussion if we have any questions or feedback from the board. See none. I will also open it up to the public. If the public has any comments on what was presented. See none. So we will continue. We will move down to 7A1. Consideration to approve an MOU between the Ravenswood City School District and Public Health Institute for district's participation in PHI's safely opening schools. I will entertain a motion.
What is the correct language to use? I forgot.
Oh. I will ask someone else.
You just say,
So yeah, I entertain a motion to approve item 7, A1, whatever the number is, and then someone else will second it.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to approve item 7A1.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
President Latu,
Aye.
Vice President Shabomahin,
aye.
Trustee Alexander,
Aye.
Trustee Polito,
Aye.
Trustee Bloom.
Aye.
And the motion carries 5-0.
Through the chair,
Let's move on.
I have a quick question about this. This is A1, right, that we just voted on for the
Yes.
MOU. Are the kids required to do their own testing every single day?
No,
How
we are
often? How often is it?
we're looking to try to test once to twice a week.
Okay, thank you. I just missed that. Thank you.
So now we will move on to 7A2. The consideration to approve a data sharing agreement between the Ravenswood City School District and Primary Diagnostics, Inc. I will entertain a motion.
Through the chair, I'll make a motion to approve item 7A2.
I will second.
Roll call, please.
President Latu,
Aye.
Vice President Shabomehin,
Aye.
Trustee Alexander,
Aye.
Trustee Polito,
Aye.
Trustee Bloom.
Aye.
And the motion carries 5-0. We will move on to 7A3, which is the consideration to approve the proposal to bring more urgent learners on campus for in-person instruction. I will entertain a motion.
Through the chair, oh, Trustee Bloom, you want it?
Yeah, I said I will make a motion to pass item 7A3.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
President Latu,
Aye.
Vice President Shabomehin,
Aye.
Trustee Alexander,
Aye.
Trustee Polito,
Aye.
Trustee Bloom.
Aye.
And the motion carries 5-0. We will go to 7B, which is a consideration to approve Resolution 2020-2021/2021-15 Retirement Incentive Program.
Yes. Thank you, President Latu. So as you are well aware, we've seen significant decline in enrollment last year and again this year, about 10 to 15%. We anticipate again with the primary school still opening up, and then the charter school, I believe, has one more phase of filling their grade levels, of another 5 to 10% decline in enrollment. That will start leveling off in the 22-23 school year. But based on this enrollment decline, we believe that we will need probably 10 to 15 fewer teachers. As we decrease in enrollment, we need our staff to be proportionate to the number of students, right? So typically we've relied on teacher attrition, natural teacher attrition, where we have teachers that leave the district for various reasons. And as it's a reason, we've benefited from that because we haven't had to have any formal layoff notices given to staff. However, given the uncertainty right now in the context of COVID, we're just not sure, it's not clear how many teachers will choose to stay with the district. And in order to ensure that we are able to have a reduction of overall staffing that's proportionate to the enrollment and that we reduce staff in a humane and collaborative way, we are looking into proposing offering a retirement incentive program, as well as we're exploring other ways to reduce overall staffing. Please be aware that there is EDCO that allows us to permit members of CalSTRS, California State Teachers Retirement System, to receive up to 2 years of additional service credit at the time of retirement. So for us, in order for this to happen, the district has to work closely with STRS, identify specific costs. There's other many factors. STRS also believes that in order to, the benefit of this would result in a lifetime benefit between $55,000 to $110,000 for members. And those of you who maybe want that broken down by month, that's about $200 to $400 a month. We are asking the board to approve this resolution. The district will work with the Teachers Association primarily to be able to contact all eligible STRS unit members and see who is interested in taking us up on this incentive program. To participate, eligible unit members will need to sign the resignation retirement form. And the retirement window is between June 17th and August 17th. And we would need that resignation retirement form submitted to us by February 28th. We have to first make sure that we work with STIRS to finalize cost estimates for each participating employee. Once that's finalized, the district will work with the county to demonstrate that this plan will achieve cost savings over the next 5 years. And that is a requirement. And at any point, we can, if the district can't demonstrate that this approach will achieve cost savings, we don't have to participate, and the district can choose at any time to not offer this retirement benefit. So we would like the Board of Trustees with these considerations to approve the resolution so that we can explore to see of the eligible teachers if they are interested.
Through the chair, and Superintendent Sadaria, this, of course, if we do decide to pursue it, it would come back to the board for final consideration.
My understanding, though, is you're just providing approval for us to explore. Tony and Will, would you be able to clarify further board action?
So a lot of this is prescribed by Ed Code, and as part of Ed Code, we don't necessarily need to bring it back to the board. Of course, an action like this would have budget implications, and so we would revisit it during the sort of second interim budget, once we'd have a much better sense as to how many teachers would choose to participate in this. So it could be sort of a point of discussion there. There is, of course, nothing in Ed Code preventing us from doing additional presentations on the board as part of this, but we're not necessarily required by Ed Code to come back to the board for sort of formal approval again.
Right, but so tonight, even though you're asking for approval for exploration, it's really an approval period because you're not necessarily obligated to bring it back before the board. And so we're talking about $1 to $1.5 million here that would impact our budget. I know there's a desire to seek ways to fund this, but I think that's helpful in the decision-making process because I feel like it's such an early conversation for me to vote on something that I may never see again and has such a financial implication to our budget.
I would also add, and not quite sure if Superintendent Sadaria mentioned this, but per this getting approved per Ed Code, we do need to demonstrate to the county that this will result in savings over a period of time. That period ranges from 2 to 5 years. I believe in the board sort of notes we said 5 years, but we do have to demonstrate this will result in longer term savings. And so it's, while it is a short-term expense, the intention both in Ed Code and from us is that this will result in a longer term savings. And those savings, just to clarify, will come in part from the reduction in the number of teachers we have, but also the sort of salary savings of switching from more senior teachers who generally are at the higher end of the salary schedule to teachers who are newer and they're younger in their careers who are therefore lower in the salary schedule.
Thank you all.
I think my question is, do you think February 28th is a reasonable amount of time to be able to do the outreach?
It's a good question. Tony, I know that you have input on this regarding to recruitment and hiring.
Yeah, so our collective bargaining agreement with RTA allows us to post vacancies starting March 1. And the purpose behind that, as you guys remember, we moved that up from, it used to be an April 1 posting date, but with our new CBA, we moved that date up a month in order to allow us to recruit and be able to access the most attractive teachers with the best, teaching history and the more competitive teachers that typically go earlier in the hiring season. So we really want to make sure that if we have more teachers leaving than positions, that we're able to fill those with highly qualified instructors.
Thank you. Also, so I'm seeing, so this is exploratory, right? So because what I'm reading below is we're not obligated as a district to participate, correct?
That is correct.
Do we have any other comments from the board?
Through the chair. Being a teacher in school districts that have done something like this in the past, I found those school districts, it was very beneficial to them in the long run because of the infusion of new teaching blood into the overall teaching staff with new ideas that, and I think this is a really, I know that if I was in a position as a teacher to do this, that I would strongly consider it. If I was close to retirement and the added benefits to me as a retiree would be great. And I just, so I think this is a really strong idea. I wanted to clarify one point that I think Superintendent Sudararia had said at some point is this is a one-time deal. So if it's this year or no year for the members, unit members who want to do this. So I think that's also important to make clear.
Thank you.
Just a question, like a clarifying question. Do we have a ballpark number? I like just a cost at all?
Yes, Trustee Polito did mention between 1.5 million, and Will, you could elaborate if there's any more that needs to be added.
Yeah, we've been working with CalSTRS to estimate the estimated cost per teacher. It's a fairly complicated actuarial formula that takes into account life expectancy, years of service, ultimate payout, things like that. So the numbers do vary by individual. What we do know is that there are 22 individuals who are eligible, and there is sort of a range of costs here. We think that the most this could cost is about $1.2 million. However, I sort of, just to be out of an abundance of caution here, have sort of expanded the range a little bit based on guidance from CalSTRS that the specific costs may vary on individuals. I don't think it'll end up that much, but that 1.5 million is if the CalSTRS estimates prove to be really low and everyone chooses to participate. That's sort of our ceiling cost. I think, in reality, we're much more likely to be probably below that $1 million estimate. But again, it kind of depends on the number of teachers who participate and the final estimated cost on an individual from CalSTRS. So I'm guessing the number will be lower, but on the expenditure side, I try and give you a higher number than expected. So sort of worst case, and on revenue, I try to give you a lower number than expected. So I'm always sort of hopefully giving good news down the road, but that's just sort of the backup behind those numbers. Trustee Bloom.
And sorry, the second question to that is this all in one chunk, or is this spread out like when they receive their retirement, like it's at the back end of the, like how does that work?
It could actually, so for the CalSTRS piece here, it's a payment to CalSTRS actually, not the employee.
Okay.
And so we would write a check to CalSTRS. I'm actually not 100% sure on which fiscal year it would fall into because of the window. I believe it would mostly fall into next fiscal year. I think we pay at the end of that window. But I need to just be not 100% sure on that one.
Thank you, Will.
So I will also, sorry.
I have a slight amendment to my last comment. Trustee Bloom, I think I read something in EdCode that there may be the possibility for a district to pay this back to CalSTRS over a period of time. I believe that we asked our contact at CalSTRS about that particular issue, and I believe that has to do with an outdated approach that CalSTRS, I think, phased out several years ago. Obviously, that would be my preference to, if we have to pay any kind of money, let's just spread it out over as many years as possible. But I believe they phase it out over time. But I can triple check that for you just to see if I'm missing something there. Sorry for the clarification.
No worries. I will also open for public comment. So if Anyone from the public has a comment on this, you can use the raise hand function and we will give you speaking capabilities. I do not see any, so we will move forward and I will entertain a motion to approve 7B, the consideration to approve resolution 2020/2021-15 retirement incentive program.
Through the chair, I would, let me see if I can remember how to do this. I would like to, I forgot the words.
To approve.
The dog.
I would, yeah, I'm sorry. I have a squeaky toy in the background with the dog. I would like to put forward that we approve this motion. I need to write this down.
Through the chair, I'll second. And so, Trustee Alexander, I'd like to make a motion. That's what you can say. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Yes, and I second.
Roll call, please.
Sorry, through the chair.
Oh, yeah.
It is a resolution, so if Miss Alexander could read the first whereas.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
All right, so I have this open right here. Sorry about the squeaky toy. Whereas Education Code 35120A5 authorizes that each member of the governing board, oh no, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Whereas Education Code section 22714 and 44929 and 87488 provide that a school district may permit members of the California State Teachers Retirement System who retire to receive up to 2 years of an additional service credit at the time of retirement, and whereas the
I believe that should be enough. Yeah.
That should be enough. Okay. Thank you for stopping me.
Mm-hmm. President Latu, would you like me to do the roll call?
Yes, roll call.
President Latu?
Aye.
Vice President Shibomihi?
Aye.
Trustee Alexander?
Aye.
Trustee Polito? So you're muted. Timing was slightly off. Thumbs up. Okay. Trustee.
Aye.
Trustee Bloom.
Aye.
Thank you.
And the motion carries 5-0. So now we will move on to 8, which is the Board of Trustees. I will go to 8B, which is board reports and communications. Do we have any updates or anything?
I, through the chair, I think one thing, if we can update the dates on the website for enrollment purposes for kinders, for TK, what TK and kinder looks like, that would be great, because I have been sending that link out to some families as well. So if we can have like the right dates on the website, that would be great.
And through the chair.
Trustee Alexander?
I would like to say that I had the privilege of being able to attend the 6th grade orientation or information session that Principal Amanda Kemp did for incoming 6th graders with several 5th grade families. And I hope that this gets to continue. I really apologize. I hope this gets to continue in the future so that we can get more people interested in coming. And I'd also like to report out that the painting on the wall for the mural over at the Bellhaven School kindergarten classroom has begun. The wall is primed. And hopefully, if it's not too rainy on Saturday and on Sunday, it will continue.
Thank you. And I'll give a shout out to Principal Kemp, who's in the crowd. So I just have 2 things that I just wanted to bring up. There's been a lot of interest from the city to create a 222 type of committee between the city of East Palo Alto, Ravenswood City School District, as well as Sequoia Union High School District. So I just wanted to bring that up because I know that there's been a lot of different conversations, but I wanted to make sure that as a board, we were all aware of kind of what's going on. I think just from my own opinion, I think let's get it into writing what the expectations are. And then we'll kind of discuss from there, like, you know, if like where it'll kind of like land. But if anybody has any comments or anything about that, I just wanted to open it up to you all. No? Continuing on to my second point. Also, there is COVID testing, COVID vaccines that are available to the community of East Palo Alto who are 65 years and older, or healthcare workers, frontline workers. And I want to make sure that you all get that information. If you visit the City of East Palo Alto website or connect with myself or anyone on Facebook, they'll pass that information along so that you all can get vaccinated. And yes, I just wanted to pass that information to you all. Our next regular board meeting will be February 25th, 2021. Yes.
Through the chair, I don't know if this is well known in the communities, but for community members who might be listening in, COVID vaccinations are also available for any adult who's a caregiver for a child with special needs, and it regardless of age. So if any of community members, a lot of community members in our community especially might not know this. So that's it.
Thank you so much. That was a great, yeah. The city has been texting me nonstop to push it out to as many people as we can. So the supply is there. We just need to make sure that we connect it to the community. So thank you all for your time. I will call at 8:07 p.m. We will adjourn this meeting. Thank you all and have a wonderful night.
Good night. Bye.
Good night. Thank you. Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. And the dog said,